we have attached a script called Advanced Style Manager. Now, you don't really need this script, but it's interesting because you could use it to very quickly change the style. Now, what you could do otherwise is to go through the TMP searchable manager and look at its components. So within these demos specifically, we have placed a script called Advanced Style Manager. So now what we could do is let's just focus on one of these, for example. Let's focus on the third one right there because it's got a lot of options. Let's put this in the middle and press play. Let's have a look. So we could click on this button right here to open the drop down manually. Okay, can make a selection. We could search it by clicking on the search button that opens the search input field. All right, I don't know, fire. And then we could select whatever we want. Or we could also click on this drop down button right here. This is just one style. You'll see the other two have a different style. But what if we want to change the UI and maybe the font? The best way to do it is by changing it through here. Now we have provided you with a lot of UI resources. We go to UI buttons and panels, and then you'll see that we've provided you with a lot of extra panels. So let's change this to a different type of panel. Zoom in so you can see it properly. And let's try maybe this blue variant. I'm going to place it in everything for now. And now if we press play, you'll notice that even the drop down items have changed. You can also change the colors of these. So you can apply a shade to it of any color you want, but not advised because it's already got an underlying blue color. If you want to do that, you probably would want to do that with a white panel. So let's try a white panel. Now with these panels, the outside ring has an opacity to it as well. So actually, this one has a background, so you have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. The reason why the middle one, the exterior is not showing as a frame is because it's got a background, and that background we could change it manually at the moment. We could just go down here and go to drop down hidden and drop down hidden, I believe so, and just reduce its opacity. And by doing so, we have got the frame color back. Another thing we could do is change its color now, and it should be applied pretty nicely. So not this one, let's try this one right here. Change it to whatever color you want. Let's try this color right here. That's a nice color. We could search. Now maybe you want the drop down menu to be a different color. So search items. We'll make this a little bit on the darker side. So we have it a little bit darker. You don't have to do that. It's completely up to you. This is just one style, but we have a lot of UIs provided. So let's try a different style, see what happens with that. UI2. UI2, 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 and UI2. So it's just exactly the same, but it's just a little bit more rounded, but it's also affecting our drop down. You don't have to have the drop down items having the exact same style as our actual drop down menu. So what you could do is change the style of the item separately and maybe apply this one to it instead for the drop down items. And you can see the drop down items are now got a square frame instead. You can even remove the color from the drop down items to white. And it will look like this. Now we have other types of frames as well. Some of these frames have two different buttons. So for example, this number one right here. So if we try to use this one, but it's also got a different shade for example, clicking button. So we could do, let's make this all white. But for the items, we could do this instead. So let's have a look and see how that looks like. So the items are darker now because we use the second version of this button, which is the clickable one. Now, you might think that there are something that we can't change, such as this bar right here, but actually you can. We haven't included it in our advanced style manager, but what you could do is go to your manual drop down and go to your scroll bar and then change the color, for example, for this manually. So we could change the color of the actual background of the bar to, let's say, this dark here, color here. And you can also go to the scroll bar right there and change the background color to maybe the light color right here. And now press play. So even the scroll bar, you'll be able to change the color for it and its background. We have provided you with two other demos as well. So let's turn this one off and turn this one on. So with this one, you search in the middle. And you can click on it to open it manually, and you can scroll up and down manually, or you can click on this button right here. And the same theory applies. Now you can see some feathering going on here, but you can easily change that yourself as well by going to the image, drop down image, and you have this mask, as the mask has a bit of feathering onto the image. So if you click on the Rect Mask 2D, you can completely zero this out and get rid of the mask and see what happens. The feathering effect is completely gone. Generally speaking, you do want some feathering effect. Don't want it to completely be gone. Okay, that's all there is to it, I think. We provided you with a lot of icons as well, and we provided you with some search buttons which you could replace the ones that are already being used.